in front of a union. I don't know what Cleveland was, but look, what we're getting from this administration is just hardcore class warfare. And look, class warfare may be effective politics. Preying on people's emotions of fear and envy might be good politics, but it is not job creation.
It wasn't good politics.
It's very divisive as well, and it's what it's telling entrepreneurs, businesses, is just, whoa, you know, this administration, you know, sees you not as a part of the solution, but as a part of the problem. And so I just think this sort of redistributive class warfare mantra is not working.
Bob Shrum's playbook for John Kerry's campaign, when we know where that campaign went, and even with the war was already getting unpopular at that point, and it didn't even work for John Kerry. Of course, when he visited the semiconductor plant and that big Woody Allen,
suit, right
that didn't help. And the windsurfing,
that was sort of the Dukakis tank shot.
And the windsurfing probably didn't help that much either. You've got an op-ed page called "The Size of Government and the Choices Fall" with Arthur C. Brooks. And the little header here: in polls, Americans overwhelmingly prefer small government and low taxes to the alternative. But we're seeing this creep of government programs that if you do it slowly enough, like we're seeing the president, you know, do it it won't be that bad. Well, let's do this, let's do that. That eventually, but you know what is a little bit disconcerting? You admit there that a lot of Americans love their social programs. Unfortunately, once you give it to them, like try taking Medicare away from someone. Well, it's Social Security. They love their government programs, Paul. Are you sure they don't like big government?
And so, yes, actually, because we have great polling data and survey data that shows that they're not. So the point that Arthur Brooks and I are trying to make, and Arthur's the head of the American Enterprise Institute, we've worked on a few projects together. The point we're trying to make here is we're going to have to make a decision pretty soon in this country, in 2010 and in 2012, what system do we want, who do we want to be? Do we want that opportunity society with a safety net based upon the American idea, limited government, free enterprise, liberty, equality.
With a safety net.
With a safety net. Or do you want that social democracy, European, statist, cradle-to-grave social welfare state? These are the choices we have to make. The government we got right now is sort of what I call the 30% coalition that wants the welfare state. 70% of Americans still want democratic capitalism. They still want that free enterprise society. So here's the choice the president's trying to frame. It's either his total security agenda versus the Republicans who want some sort of Hobbesian state of nature, leave you to the wolves, social Darwinism, whatever they want. That is a false choice. What we're saying is we can and should have a safety net to help people who can't help themselves, to help people who are down on their luck. But we don't want to turn that safety net into a hammock that lulls people into lives of complacency and dependency in the government and creates a culture of dependency, statism, and actually tells people basically, which is what I think the current message is, you're stuck in your current station of life and the government's here to help you cope with it. That is not what we are. That's not the American idea. We are an entrepreneurial, free society that appeals to people's hopes and aspirations, not to their sense of envy and fear.
Why does it?
And that is who we ought to be. It is not the system we've had in this country. And I think America, unlike Western Europe and other countries, we naturally want to be an entrepreneurial society. We believe in production and achievement and enjoying the fruits of your labor, and we want to reward success. Earned success is a good thing. We ought to have it. It is what has given us all of the prosperity we've had that's unrivaled. And we know what we need to do to get it. We just need to get a government that can help us do that. And then we Republicans can't screw up again. We can't drop the ball like we had in the past.
Paul, I don't understand why it has to be one or the other. Why can't there be more of a centrist?
That's the point Arthur and I are trying to make.
Back to okay, we understand there are some good things on this side. We understand there are some good opportunities on this side. As you mentioned, you don't want to not have that social safety net. You want to make sure that there is a base standard of living that people don't fall below.
That's right. And so that's what I think I'm saying, Becky, which is I think I'm speaking to your sense of getting it right, a right of center type of an approach, which is we want to have a vibrant safety net. The plan I put out there keeps Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid going into the future. It just does it in a sustainable way so that our government is not doubling and tripling in size over the next century. I mean, our debt goes to 750% of GDP under the current CBO baseline. It's totally unsustainable. So what we're not saying is trash everything we did in the 20th century. Take those social insurance programs, make them fit and work in the 21st century, and have that safety net that we all agree on, and we've reached consensus in this country, but make sure we have free market democracy on top of it so that we really can have an upward mobility society. We can have real prosperity in this country.
There are certain... President Obama's base is unhappy with the pace of progress and with the actual legislation itself.
That's right.
They wish there was a public option. How do you know?
So,
how does the Republicans are painting President Obama and his policies as far left as we've ever been in this country. Just and yet it didn't, it didn't satisfy any of his true progressive backers. So the president probably, and when he I want to believe him when he looks in the camera and he says, these are small steps that we're taking. This is not, I have not, and suddenly just vaulted us into socialism with one fell swoop.
I don't know that you can fully satisfy his progressive base because there's no limiting principle to government under the progressive vision. So I don't know that you can ever satisfy that base. What he's trying to do is shore up that base. What Democrats in Congress these days call this current period is, they say it's the third wave of progressivism. You had sort of LBJ, FDR, and now it's whatever we call this, which is to formally and finally transform America into this new kind of progressive era, which basically means we abandon the American idea and go with sort of the cradle-to-grave welfare state. The problem is, like Margaret Thatcher said, pretty soon you run out of other people's money to spend. It doesn't work, and you have managed decline. So we go from a free market system to a managed capitalism, to a crony capitalism system. That's not who we are. It's really not what people want, but it is the kind of government we've got right now. And it is our job as not just the opposition party, but the alternative party, to show how we can get back to sort of that American idea, get this debt under control, get these social insurance programs working so they don't strangle us in stagnation and debt, and then grow and prosper going forward. And that's our obligation to the American people, to give them a choice. And the way I basically say it, Joe and Becky, is we're going to have to make a choice. Because if we don't make a choice, we're on the path we are on right now. And that path we are on right now is a debt crisis, is stagnation, is this kind of a progressive state, which Arthur and I are trying to make in this point. The point in our column is you basically incrementally grow and grow and grow and go down this path where you become that cradle-to-grave welfare state. And we've got to get off that path. And that does not mean send everybody to the wolves. It means shore up our safety net, make our safety net work, make it reliable. I mean, my Social Security plan, I actually increased the minimum benefit to make sure that no senior is under the poverty level. We can fix these things, but we don't want to have a cradle-to-grave society that fixes people in current class structures and talks to people based on envy and fear. We want to have an upwardly mobile society that appeals to people's sense of aspiration, hope. And that's who we are.
We have a lot to.
Sorry, you got me going there.
No. We have a lot more to. I want to talk to you about Darth Boehner, which that's the editorial in the journal as well. They decided he was going to be the full. He's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be.
I don't think it's going to work. I mean, we're like 53 days away from the election.
And whether there's certainly a perception among certain parts of the country that we have moved that way, whether it's true or not, whether the president has a case by saying, look, I haven't done that much. But in November, people may act like, and I also want to talk to you.
Done a lot.
Yeah, I actually want to tell you about whether, the sweep idea that some conservatives said, whether that's overstated, whether is there still a chance that the Democrats retain the House? I mean,
Sure.
You think so?
Sure. Well, look, they've got a lot of money and muscle, and they haven't deployed it yet.
Yeah. Right, they're thinking, and they're taking steps. You saw that. A president does not mention a guy's name 9 times.
9 times in a speech.
And then the New York Times doesn't follow along with its.
This is not we are red.
Did you see that on Sunday?
Yeah.
That's like TASS, isn't it?
They're going right at
That's like an arm of the Obama administration. It's like Pravda. It's like a government.
Well, look, I'm just saying when the president himself is launching the political attack against the minority party leader. This is divisive politics.
Although,
and look, both parties have done this. I'm not saying we have halos over our heads.
Well, that's what the point is.
We did this. I'm just saying
they learned
you
from
can
the
see
Pelosi
the
smear and nose.
Didn't work for us in 2006. I don't think it's going to work for them today.
all right, let's talk.